Hello and welcome to Zaita Talk. My name is Peggy Mustafa, and here I speak about what is happening in the world from a Quranic perspective. Today I'll be asking the question, is ex-Muslim a fitting label for someone who rejects Islam? In January 2019, a Saudi woman shut herself in a Thai hotel room to avoid deportation. Rahaf Mohammed Al Qanoon said she would be killed if forced to return to her abusive family. The 18-year-old Saudi woman was detained in Bangkok after having fled from her family after renouncing Islam, fearing she will be killed if she is repatriated, according to a close family friend who said the threats to her life were real. Al Qanoon had barricaded herself in a hotel room for fear that her Thai immigration officials who had gathered outside her door would force her on a plane to leave the country. Qanoon said she was trying to escape from her family because they subjected her to physical and psychological abuse. She had appealed for help from Europe, the US, Canada, and Australia. A 20-year-old friend of Qanoon said the threats to her were real. She's ex-Muslim and has a very strict family. They're using violence with her, and she has faced sexual harassment, she said. She received a threat from a cousin. He said he wants to see her blood. He wants to kill her. Reports that has clearly stated that she had renounced Islam would put her at serious risk of prosecution by the Saudi Arabian government. As it happened, this woman was subsequently given asylum in Canada. But the question I want to ask is ex-Muslim the right description for anyone who rejects Islam? Apostate is someone who abandons one faith, but since the Quran never describes Islam as a religion and offers freedom of belief, is an ex-Muslim a fitting label for someone who rejects Islam? Before you can understand what an ex-Muslim is, you need to define what a Muslim is. The word Muslim is often taken as a label or a title of a person who professes to have accepted Islam or is born into a family of professed Muslims. Whether they know anything about Islam or not is rarely, if ever, questioned. However, as long as they declare their belief in the one God and Muhammad as his messenger, then without query they are considered to be Muslim. But contrary to the popular belief, this does not make them Muslim. Even if they participate in festivals normally associated with Islam, practice some rituals such as prayer and fasting, or have performed a pilgrimage to Mecca, none of these makes anyone a Muslim. A Muslim with a small m is simply someone who accepts the guidance in the Quran and its values and implements them in his or her life. These are the values that harmonize people with their environment and leads individuals to become humanitarians, the true benefactors of mankind. So, what are these values? The key theme that runs throughout the Quran is social equity, because this is the foundation of a fair and just society, and it creates a social environment in which individuals can express themselves and realize their full potential. This is all underpinned by each person's accountability for their own actions. However, detractors of Islam and those who call themselves ex-Muslims see the Muslim society behave in a noxious manner with its misogyny, violence and other absurdities, and they wrongly think this is Islam. The poorly translated Quran further confirms their belief, and with this distorted picture they reject Islam when it is a religion masquerading as Islam that should be rejected. Without understanding the Quran proper, people become ex-Muslim, or for the want of a better description, ex-humanitarian. It is an odd way to describe yourself, especially if you have given the name to yourself as a symbol of pride, in the mistaken belief that it shows your rebellion against all that is evil, when in fact the complete opposite is true. What people believe to be in the Quran and what it actually says are two different things. Don't let fear and hate prevent you from knowing the truth. Whatever your belief, the Quran is a compelling read. In the next part of this podcast, I will be speaking to Elizabeth, who is a student at the local university, and she has some questions about this topic, about ex-Muslims. Hello, my name is Peggy Mustafa, and today is the 23rd of January. Good evening to everybody. I have with me Elizabeth today, and Elizabeth and I are talking about some interesting things which have happened over the past week or so. So hello, Elizabeth, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad at all. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, what's been happening?
Well, I noticed in the news recently about the lady from Kuwait who moved and she left Islam. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on that and her movement away.
Okay, well, I think the one of the reasons why she left was because she said that her family were going to kill her if she went back because of her
Yeah.
views and so on. And Saudi Arabia is not really a good place for women these days, and she wanted to escape from that. And she was going to emigrate to Australia, I think.
Yeah.
But after a few days of different things happening, it was Canada that accepted her.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in the news, there was an item that said that she had left Islam or she'd left Islam before, and that wasn't very conducive to being in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as leaving Islam goes, I'm not really sure how she understands Islam.
Yeah.
And my reckoning is this that, if she had actually understood what Islam is about, she might not have left Islam in the way that she did, or she would not have left Islam at all. Because, see, the word Islam, sorry, the word Muslim is often taken as a label or a title of a person who professes to have accepted Islam or who's born into Islam. Whether they understand Islam or not is a different thing. So, people are generally expected to believe that Muhammad is the messenger of God, the Quran is God's divine book. And as long as they believe in these things without actually understanding what Islam is about, they're considered to be a Muslim, when in fact this isn't true. A person can only become a Muslim if they have the values which are imbibed in the Quran. Now, these values um, are about making commitments to your community and pushing forward the society and being a humanitarian. What these values really are is that the key theme that runs throughout the Quran is about social equity. It's about the foundation of a fair and just society, and it creates a social environment in which individuals can express themselves and realize their full potential. This is all underpinned by a person's accountability for their own actions. But see, the detractors of Islam are those who call themselves ex-Muslims, see that the Muslim society behave in a noxious manner with all its misogyny, violence and other absurdities, and they wrongly think that this is Islam. And another thing is this, the Quran translations that we have are very poorly translated. And then they sort of confirm these beliefs. And with this, the distorted picture of Islam, they reject it. And uh, when they should really be rejecting the religion and not Islam itself. So, without proper understanding the Quran, people become ex-Muslim, or, for a want of a better description, ex-humanitarian. It's an odd way to describe yourself, I think, especially if you have given this name to yourself as a symbol of pride, in the mistaken belief that it shows your rebellion against all that is evil, when in fact the complete opposite is true.
Mm-hmm. So in that way, could you see or could you say that many people could be described as Muslim then, even though they don't realize necessarily because they're acting in a Muslim way?
Well, I think you're right. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the vocabulary. For example, the word Muslim is an Arabic word.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be called a Muslim to be a
Mm-hmm.
Muslim. It's your values and your conduct that define you whether you're a Muslim. The Muslim actually means somebody who harmonizes with society and pushes society forward.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody, anywhere could be a Muslim
Mm-hmm.
without calling themselves a Muslim.
Yeah.
It's the values, as I said, and the conduct that makes you a Muslim, not uh, the label that you attach to yourself.
Mm-hmm. So, in many ways, when she was leaving Muslim, if you look at it from this perspective, then she is not necessarily leaving Islam, but leaving like the cultural aspect and the religious aspect potentially.
Yes, I think you're exactly right.
Hmm.
She is leaving her culture. That's what she doesn't like. And I think we have to accept that Saudi, culture is quite oppressive as far as women are concerned, because as you
Hmm.
know, it's only recently the women have been allowed to drive or vote, for
Yeah.
that matter. So it's true. She's grown up in a culture and she thinks that's Islam. And so she has left Islam when in fact she's left her culture without
Yeah.
actually knowing what Islam is. Well, that's all for now. Don't forget to order your copy of the exposition of the Quran. It's available from the website signet.co.uk. That's signet.co.uk. Thank you for listening, and please like, share, and subscribe. Please use the comment section to ask any questions. Have a good day and goodbye.